Alrighty, and we are on. Welcome to another fantastic episode of This Week in Reselling, where we interview special guests each and every week from different walks of life in the reselling world. Here we'll discuss the highs and lows of reselling and dive into great conversation. We're positive they're going to hear something that's going to help you become a better reseller. I'm your host, Ray, and I almost got through it, Carrie, without messing up.
Almost.
But I messed up a
You did
little
pretty good,
bit.
I think. I give it like an 8 out of 10.
I was going to say it in Spanish, but I don't know.
Do it. Have you dubbed your episodes in Spanish yet? You should do that.
No, I don't have time.
Dude, you got to be like
Time
Mr.
is-
Beast Espanol. You got to do like all the
know.
languages. Finish all
I know.
of it.
I don't have time.
Wait till
But,
trash.
guy-
Wait till Trash the Cash is in all the languages, just spewing nonsense.
I mean,
gonna happen.
You would think, what would be Spanish, Hindi, probably, right?
Yeah, I think.
And
we're
then
gonna
maybe
do,
like Mandarin or Cantonese.
Yeah, Mandarin, Tagalog. We got to get the. We got to just. Yeah, I think there's a lot of markets, man. A lot of markets out there.
What do they speak in the Philippines? English and
Tagalog.
Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha. Because I think in the Philippines this is a huge YouTube.
They're always
market.
like
That
top
didn't-
5, and TikTok
Yeah.
too. Like I always have like a lot of people watching from the Philippines, which is dope.
Interesting. I know. I used to. Well, I guess he's still my friend, but he used to work as a hibachi chef, and we became friends. But he was from Indonesia, and he was explaining to me that in Indonesia there's like a national language, and then depending where you are in Indonesia, there's like little native languages. So he had like other Indonesian people working with them, and he was like, "Oh, look, they're talking crap to me in their native language. And I don't understand what they're saying, but they're all like Indonesian," which I thought was
like
interesting.
I lived in Mexico, but there's a lot of people think it's only Spanish, but there's like a lot of the different indigenous languages like Nahuatl, Mayan, and stuff that people still speak. So yeah, you can if you know that, you can talk some trash. Nobody will have a clue what you're saying.
There you go.
Always,
But
it's always
guys, we're
helpful.
here. We're here with special guest Carrie, aka American Arbitrage, but we're not talking about thrifting, reselling,
None of that.
all
No.
that stuff. We're talking about cards, particularly
Yes.
TCGs, trading cards, all that stuff. So if you're checking out, if you're here to talk about any of that reselling stuff, we're here to talk about cards, which, we can get into
Numbers.
reselling in there. But
Decimal points. We're talking
all of it. So Carrie, let's say hi to some people in the chat before we get started. So we have Sunny in here. We have Lisa.
Funny.
How often do you see Sunny?
I see Sonny in my dreams every night, and then apart from that, I see him about once a week. Yeah,
Okay.
we're always.
Nice.
He's usually going to. We do a live whatnot on Thursdays. He usually comes to, and then we tend to hang out more than that. Go out to get some Korean barbecue or something. He is the Las
I've
Vegas
never been-
guy.
Oh, okay. I've never been to a Korean barbecue place. Am I missing out?
It's so good. Like you.
But don't you have to cook
in
the
front of you.
food?
Here's
I'm not
here's
cooking.
the
I'm
rub.
not paying to cook the food, Carrie.
I've never once cooked it. Somebody else does it.
I don't want anybody else cook. Well, I guess if you go to a restaurant, somebody else is cooking your food. But
That's true. I trust
I don't know.
Sonny. I've been with Sonny. I've been with Dave. I trust them. So far, I'm okay. So far.
there you go.
Who knows?
How
I
do you
could
like your meat? Medium? Are you a well done Kai?
When we're probably there, a little bit more well done just to be safe. But yeah, in
Okay.
general, like
Yeah.
medium rare. I'd like it just fresh off.
Ooh, medium rare. Interesting. Okay. All right. We have Amanda Fireball Flippers. We have Chris at Peak. Who's a
Hey.
pretty guy on the right? Oh my gosh. Carrie. His name is Carrie.
Carrie.
And Ken. What's up, Ken?
Hey,
Carrie
what's up,
says,
Ken?
who you got in game 7 at the Garden tomorrow?
Chris, I'm not gonna root for your
Knicks
team, brother.
versus who are they playing?
No, it's Sixers versus
Is
the
it-
Celtics. Are we talking
Okay,
about
I haven't
Madison
been
Square
keeping-
Garden? Or are we talking
I
about
haven't been
Boston
keeping
Garden?
up with basketball this
Assuming
year.
he's talking about Boston, and I'm going for Philly, man, because I got a couple friends from Philly that I was hanging out with, like when I was in Dallas for the card stuff I've been doing for my channel, and they're
Mhm.
so diehard Philly fans. I kind of can't help but kind of root for them now because
There you
I don't
go.
care
There you
because
go.
Jazz suck. So I'm going for Philly, and no offense to Chris, who I know is a diehard Boston Celtics fan.
Interesting. Okay. We have Deal Billy HQ. Now, Carrie, this is a friend of mine from Whatnot. We're both in the electronic category, and we kind of
Nice.
bounce ideas off of each other. We get on conference calls and all that stuff. So We'll get into
Nice.
whatnot. Awesome. And we have
Yeah, we can
Jill's
talk
in the
what.
building. Yeah, we can
Hello,
talk about
Jill.
whatnot. But Carrie, okay, so we're here. We're talking about trading cards,
Let's
and
do it.
people know who you are. I'm not going to give you a brief introduction, but let's talk about how Carrie got into trading cards. Let's do that. Carrie getting into trading cards, the evolution of Carrie, reseller Carrie into reselling trading cards Carrie. Because you're
You
taking a
know,
pivot. You're growing here, Carrie. You're taking a pivot. You're moving away from like, well, I wouldn't say moving away, but you're expanding
I'm
into
expanding,
your
and
other
there
niches
I
that
have.
you like.
Yeah, I mean, I've been kind of staying away from the thrift store content, which is what I was known for, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And Chris does it a lot as well. I know you've done some, and I do mostly garage sale on the main channel. But like cards is something I always talked about on my main channel for years. Just there was a good segment of people who glazed over; they didn't care, and I didn't want to mess with that anymore. But honestly, I think I'm a reseller because of cards. I got my first shoebox of cards from my older brother Danny, 13 years older. He gave me a shoebox full of 1977 and 78 football and 19 hot off the presses. This was 1990. Hot off the presses, 1990 paint splatter Donruss baseball. Just the ugliest design ever, which I love to this day because it's the first stuff I ever saw. And I remember just like sitting on his green shag carpeting, 1990 Wilson Phillips blaring in the background. Hold on for one more day. And I was looking through these cards, and it kind of shaped me. Like I ended up going to card shops almost every week after that. I did a couple card shows when I was a kid, and I started reselling on eBay for fun with cards before I was like a full time reseller. So yeah,
Interesting.
that's kind of how I started.
So
Yeah,
cards first, and then you kind of evolved into, well, I can make money selling jeans and toys and
yeah, or
collectibles.
whatever. Yeah, just toys, collectibles, pop culture stuff. Yeah.
So did the trading card stuff kind of like take a back seat into American arbitrage Carrie, and then finally you're like, I'm gonna go back to what got me here, kind of like full circle
Yes
evolution.
and no. I've sold cards the whole time I've been reselling full time. But yeah, it definitely took a back seat where there was times where I might have had next to no cards listed on eBay. But I would venture to guess I've always had a few cards or cards to be listed at any given time.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been like just like anything. Like I've been reselling for a long time. You have as well. Like you kind of get on like a kick. At least I do. Like I got into toys for a couple years there, like heavy. I still like them. I just don't find them that often at a good price. And cards, I just decided to double down on the card stuff and start my own channel. And I've been super, super pleasantly surprised how well it's done. I did not expect that. I expected it to be a grind, much like the
Mm-hmm.
regular channel was. It has been. So yeah, no, it's what I'm most passionate about, and probably what I can offer the community the most knowledge on. I mean, I know a little bit about a lot of stuff, but cards, I can get into the weeds on cards, and really, it
I
probably
love it.
help some people. Yeah.
I love it. And that's what we're here to talk about. And guys, if you want to follow Carrie on his new social media endeavors, all the links are listed down below. American Arbitrage Cards on YouTube, Instagram. Do you have a TikTok separate Yeah, you do,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You have
I
a
thought
American.
so too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So, let's see here. Simply Shenanigans is in the building. Good to see you. And Walt Deerhammer? Deerhammer? I hope I'm
I
saying
love
that
it,
right. Deerhammer. I like that. I like Warhammer.
dude.
Below
That's a
there.
that's a cool name,
Yeah. Wilson Phillips plus 90s Dondras. Life was perfect then.
It
Man, don't
was.
you
It
wish you can
was.
go back into the 90s,
Seriously.
early 2000s?
Seriously. I'm
Gosh.
in.
Okay, so Carrie, here's a scenario, okay? For someone that doesn't know anything about cards, it's fresh off, let's talk about Sonny. We'll talk about Sonny. Excuse me. Sonny's walking into a Walmart.
Yeah.
This is post 2020, so he can find cards on the shelf, which this is a completely different story in itself. So he's walking into Walmart. He sees all these trading cards on the shelf, and he wants to experiment, break packs, maybe sell some of them. Like, what do you recommend? Where do you get started? Let's go from there.
If you want to kind of just learn about sports cards and open and have fun, then Walmart's the place for you. If you want to make money, that's not the way to do it. If there was a brief time
Mm,
in 2020, there was a brief time in 2020 where you could pretty much buy anything on the shelf and put up on eBay or wherever and
crazy.
flip for a profit. It was crazy. But I mean, I've been buying retail stuff at Kmart's, Targets since I think 95, 94, 95, for fun. mostly, not flipping back then. But yeah, that's just, it's not a very, like, I will do my whole premise of my card channel. Like I niche down into cards, but within cards, I'm not the guy going, this makes sense if you see my channel. I'm not the guy going and buying $15,000 graded cards and trying to make $100,000. That doesn't track with who I am. I'm going to the dollar boxes, the cheap, inexpensive boxes, and picking, finding gems, finding overlooked cards that people don't know are valuable. And then I'm opening up those packs, those bargain boxes at Walmart for fun, just to show people the fun of opening
Gotcha.
packs.
Okay.
If you want to make
So
money doing this, knowledge is power. And there's 1,000 different ways to gain knowledge about sports cards, which I'm happy to talk about. But yeah, the boxes at Walmart are fun and a good introduction, but you need to know I sell everything I get in a bargain box. Or sorry, the blaster boxes, the boxes at Walmart. I sell everything, but I usually lose money. It's more
okay.
fun.
Nice. So it's just like a keeping stuff. So you're talking about going into a trading card store, looking into those huge. I don't even. There's a name for them, aren't they? I can't remember.
Yeah, they're called like bargain bins, bargain boxes, dollar boxes, stuff like that. Yeah.
And you're just digging through those.
Yeah.
And you're looking to see if there's something, just kind of like going through a thrift store and shuffling through.
I went today. Okay. I went today to a local card shop. So the two main spaces I do this are at the local card shop. Not everybody has those. And the best place to do it is a card show. Most cities in America have at least one a month somewhere nearby. Oftentimes there could be one every week, depending on where you live. And you go in and really, like, if you're playing fantasy football, which I know we both do, or if you're playing fantasy baseball, that's the stuff that kind of helps. You know, who's hitting a lot of home runs right now, you know, who had 4 touchdowns in the game last week. And then just knowledge is power. Like, I picked up this card today, Kevin Alcantara, rookie autograph, $2.
Wow.
If you go look up Kevin Alcantara, he is the number 2 prospect for the Chicago Cubs, very popular team. So he's their second best player that's coming up the ranks to the pros. So, you know, I picked this up at $2. That was a good play. You know, and this is not, I'm not playing the speculation game, which a lot of card people do. They're buying cards and saying, I hope Kevin Alcantara is going to be good. No, I'm buying this card at $2 knowing I can sell it right now for a profit, if that makes sense.
So what would you say, $10?
Yeah, about $10. Yeah. I mean, not there's so much nuance to cards. And if you get passionate about it, you can learn a lot. But the reason why this is not like $100 card is because of the brand. You see, you don't see his Cubs information on there. There's nothing.
Oh, because MLB, who owns the licenses for MLB?
It is Fanatics and Topps. Fanatics owns Topps.
So Fanatics, so Topps is the only one with for baseball, at least.
Yeah. So for a lot of times with baseball, the play is good players, but, you know, unbranded stuff. You're not going to get top dollar, but they're still autographs. So finding these autographs of great players, but just unbranded, you can get them cheap because a lot of times people are overlooking, you know, or you find a player who's in his college uniform and that's not as desirable as his pro uniform. But when you're paying $3 and there's only 20 of those in existence, then there's some money to be made there. So that's the fun of it. There's so much to it, and I could talk for hours about it. I love it.
So what sports do you recommend for people? Just the sports that they're most knowledgeable about, I'm guessing.
Whatever they're into. So if you like soccer, get into soccer cards. If you like baseball the most, get into baseball cards. As far as popularity, it's a little bit cyclical and seasonal. I would say, you know, it used to be when we were kids, America's game was baseball. And baseball cards are insanely popular, more so than the actual sport is. But football really is king. Football is probably the most consistent card. But I buy everything, dude. I sell bull riding cards. I sell cards of Yo MTV Rap cards, Vanilla Ice rookie cards, you know, just stupid stuff that I think is cool.
There you go. So okay, so let's talk about, you know, you show me those cards and they all have autographs on them, so those would be good ones to pick up because they have the autographs on the cards. So what about, you know, I'm looking, you know, I'm breaking packs or I'm looking through these dollar bins here. Like just the different like parallels and just the different variations, and we were talking a little bit about this before we got on. The different variations of cards, like to me that's super confusing, and I don't know like the hierarchy of what's like the best or whatnot. And I'm sure cards like that aren't going to be in the dollar bins.
Oh, they are. That's the thing.
Okay.
At this point, I've been doing this so long, and I know enough about. I'm finding stuff in every bin I go to that people overlook, and there's various reasons why a card shop, for example, who have owners that are very knowledgeable, right? Maybe more so than me, overlook stuff. There's a lot of variables. Imagine this: sports is dynamic, right? You have a young quarterback, right? He's a backup quarterback. The main guy gets injured, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was, maybe a 5th round draft pick. Brock Purdy, for example, this year for the San Francisco 49ers. His stuff was probably in bargain bins at the start of the year.
Mr. Irrelevant.
Then what happened is, Mr. Irrelevant, the last pick in the draft, nobody thought he was going to do anything. They actually had to lose Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo before they got to him, right? He was the 3rd string quarterback. His stuff was in the dollar bins. And the reason why you can find it in the dollar bins even a couple weeks after he's gotten hot is because these card shop owners, these card show people, they're not going through their boxes again. You have to be like superhumanly into everything and know what everything is. So you're finding stuff. That's part of the game. So, if you know what's happening with sports at any given moment, it's dynamic and you can find that kind of stuff. But it's so nuanced, just like anything. But if you're passionate about it, I'm sure when you started, getting more into reselling, and me myself, when I got into reselling 10 years ago plus, I was looking up any YouTube video I could find on it. At that time, like 10 or 11 years ago, there wasn't a lot of YouTube on this subject, or even cards for that matter. But I was watching everything. And I feel like if it's something you want to get into, you watch all the stuff you can find on it. You go on and you look at eBay's, sold results. You go see what's happening in sports. And if you do that, over time, you're going to get better and better at it. But at first, you're going to go in a box, like you're saying, you're going to notice something shiny. You're not going to have any clue if it's worth anything. But if you, do that grind, which, could take years, honestly, you can get super knowledgeable on it and learn, the nuances of it. And I'm still learning. That's what I love about reselling, though, dude. Like, it's a constant learning process all the time, every day. It never ends.
There you go. We do want to give a shout out to a homie, Des Hardy, coming in hot with the $10 super chat. Thank you so much. And this is a good segue here. We'll play the super chat video, Carrie, and then we'll go into the segue here. So thank you so much, Des Hardy. What's that?
Is it a dolphin?
It's not a dolphin. It's close. And it makes another sound.
Showtime! Woo! 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 Silent and profiling. Showtime!
Almost played it twice. Hey, if you want to see it again, you guys know what to do. But so
showing the money, man.
There you go. So segue. So you were talking about finding cards that you're very knowledgeable about. I do like sports. I watch football. I play football growing up. I like baseball. I like basketball. But I'm not in the weeds as much as sports is a lot of people. But some of the things, one of the sports that I am in the weeds about, Carrie, is wrestling. So I have here. So explain to the people what I'm holding up right now. I believe it's 2022 Panini Prism wrestling cards. That's probably the best outside of like super high end stuff, like the $1,000 boxes. That's the best stuff you can find out and about easily. Prism
has a lot of shiny stuff and numbered stuff. Like, for example, this is a Prism card. So see how it's shiny and everything, and then it has numbering on the back. That's a Prism card. It's chrome.
There you go, chrome. So I got a hanger, and then I got a, what do you call this one? This is a blaster box, right?
Box. So those are ones that you can find at Walmart or Target.
So we have here a blaster box of the debut edition of WWE Prism. So we'll open those up here in a little bit. But let's see here. We do have a question. I saw Jimmy popped in the chat. Good to see you, Jimmy. Glad you could stop by. And Kristen's saying, Carrie, I'm looking for some Nebraska volleyball cards. Lindsey Cross got one? That's interesting. That's very niche.
I don't have one, but niche stuff is amazing. I love that kind of stuff. Volleyball, tennis, golf, and it goes on and on and on. There's a new product that came out, Topps just came out with. It's called Athletes Unlimited. And it's a lot of female sports. It's a lot of volleyball players, golfers, just kind of like random sports, I guess, that don't have enough following to have their own product, but they're kind of all bunched together.
Oh,
that kind of stuff's awesome. I love finding like For example, I have, Freddy Krueger, right? What's his name?
Mhm.
Robert Englund. He has a quote unquote rookie card from a set. There was a sci-fi TV show back in the 80s called V, and they redid it a couple years ago. It was a sci-fi movie, and he was one of the characters in it. And I ended up, somebody gave me a collection of their cards, and I found Robert Englund's quote unquote rookie card, or guess
Oh,
his
that's
first
cool.
card. Not
Okay.
super. I mean, people ask a lot for it. It doesn't really sell for that much. But I mean, I love kind of weird stuff like that. Like an ET card, not so much because it has ET, but because it has Drew Barrymore, for example, who, that's the first time she was ever on any kind of trading card. So, I mean, that kind of stuff, there's a weird niche market for it. And I'll look for that. I haven't seen it though.
That's a great point. I have I bought some of these. I can't remember the player, but I have the quote unquote Drake's rookie card, which is him sitting front row like a Toronto Raptors game. So he's like front and center on there, and it's considered like Drake's rookie card. So I have several of those just because they were cheap at the time when I bought them. But
there's a lot
like
of
you were
stuff
saying, like stuff like that. Yeah.
With sports cards, there's a lot of oddities. There's a lot of things like that are cool.
Who are the two brothers that murdered their parents?
Menendez brothers, 1990. Mark Jackson, 1990 hoops card. So what had happened? This is a terrible story, but it's weird. So the Menendez brothers, murdered their parents, took their money, went to New York, got front row tickets to the Knicks, and in that card, Mark Jackson, the starting point guard for the Knicks, in the background of the card, the Menendez brothers are in the front row. And people didn't recognize this till about 5 or 6 years ago. It started spreading on like Reddit or some forum for sports cards. And now, it actually spiked for a while and was worth a lot. Yeah, you probably have, there you go. Right there in the corner is the brothers. Yeah, that's insane. And there's a lot of stuff like that. That same set has a Michael Jordan card, and it isn't Michael Jordan's card. It's Sam Vincent's.
That's right. Yeah.
Sam Vincent played for the Orlando Magic, and he's being guarded by Michael Jordan, and Michael Jordan's jumping to block a shot, but Jordan's not wearing the number 23. He's wearing the number 12 because his jersey was stolen that night, and he had to use somebody else's jersey. So, like, and that card is now like a $4 or $5 card where it would be worth a nickel. So it's just weird stuff like that, and there's hundreds of cards like that, and that's part of the fun of it.
There you go. That's awesome. Des is saying, just surfing through YouTubers and found Ray's live. Oh, glad to see you there, Des.
Well,
we have Perfectly Blessed. Good to see you. And let's see here. Okay, so I lost my train of thought, Carrie. So we're gonna crack this open. So what are we looking to find in this? You said a lot of shiny cards.
I mean, shiny cards, but there could be numbered, meaning there's only 5 or 100 in existence. There's technically a possibility of autographs. So, I mean, it's not impossible to get, like, I don't know, if Hulk Hogan has an autograph. It's not likely, though. But let's see.
Okay.
Let's see what you get. I'll tell you if you got anything. More than likely nothing, but you may have gotten something.
So we have here Kofi Kingston. Shout out to Kofi Kingston. So what kind of card is this? Just a plain Prism silver?
Base card. It's a Prism base card. So when this product came out, which was last year, this stuff was freaking red hot. For about 3 or 4 weeks, you could even sell some of the base cards for money. And that's another thing with cards. When a new set comes out, if you get it right when it comes out and you immediately post on eBay, you can get stupid prices for stuff. But this is it's cooled off a little bit.
Yeah. So we have here just another base card, another base card, base card, base card, base card.
We're looking for shiny stuff or colorful stuff.
Yeah, here's a Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan, that's a dope
still a base.
card.
Yeah.
That's a card in my eBay. I put it $1.50. I'd make 40 cents on it when it's sold.
Yeah.
But yeah. Not big money, but you get thousands. Yeah, Seth Rollins, good wrestler right there.
Great wrestler. And this one's got a little glimmer to it.
That's a Prism silver. So you get
Prism
the silver.
So this is a
rookie. I can't see who it is though. That's the problem.
Blair Davenport. It's not a rookie.
I don't know if he's good or not.
It is a rookie card. It's a girl from. It is a rookie.
Yeah, so
card.
I mean that might be worth an extra $1 or $2 if you got the right person at the right time. I've actually sold a lot of modern wrestling like, from a couple years ago, because like Charlotte Flair had a rookie in 2013 or 14. Like some of the modern stuff can be valuable, but there we go.
Here's a red, white, and blue, I guess.
Dusty Rhodes. Yeah, so that you get a couple of those.
Rhodes.
Yeah, a couple per pack. Yeah. That's not super valuable, but that's
I love Dusty. Here's another AJ Styles. I guess this is a Fearless. What'd you call? This is probably not.
That's an insert card. Not really
card.
Rare, unfortunately.
What's an insert card?
Just like a different design, kind of like one per pack or one every other pack.
Kind of like
they
this
used
prismatic.
to back in the 90s. Back in the 90s, they were bigger than they are now. Now it's just not really doesn't add any value.
It is. Gotcha.
But there's so much nuance to it. Like there are what they call case hits in this product. So some of the inserts are one per case of cards, which means like 1 in 20 boxes. You find one of those, you might have a couple $100 card. So, and I think they're called color blasts in this product, but you might have it in your blast.
Okay.
It's not like I've definitely pulled them before in breaks and stuff. So
we'll see. We have Lisette coming on. Good to see you, Lisette.
Hey, Lisette, how are you doing?
Yeah.
Ready to get bored with sports cards?
Yeah, let's go. Let's do it. I like it too, Carrie. I like I just like finding Yeah, so here we're opening up a blaster. So this is gonna have 4 packs. Debut edition.
So like the one pack's probably like $10 or $12. This is probably like 30-ish, I would guess, give or take. So that's kind of the difference, right? The box.
And we'll quickly go through these just to see if there's any. Here's another, I guess. Bianca Belair, great wrestler. There you go. I guess was another insert.
Insert. So far, nothing earth-shattering, but that's kind of how it is.
Yeah.
If you go look at my TikTok, like I do a lot of videos of opening boxes and like these kind of boxes, and you can see some are terrible, some are amazing. It's just weird, hit and miss. It's gambling in its basic
It is
form.
very like what would you? Let's talk about that, Carrie. So 2020 was different, but now, I mean, it's essentially gambling, right? Opening up new product like I'm doing now.
Yep. It is. It is 100%. I mean, it isn't technically gambling, but it is. No person should be opening up really almost anything from the retail Walmarts and Targets, expecting to make money. I make money on a box 1 out of maybe every 8 or 9. So I'm losing money typically, but I'm doing content out of it. I found a way to make it a part of my business because I love it.
This is the silver one, right? Because it's got that little shimmer to it.
It's Prism Silver.
Here we go. There's your twin right there, Carrie.
We are both super tall. Compared to Dave and Kevin, we are both very tall. There's been I've literally gone and got a Prism box of like basketball. So the basketball version of what you're opening. Opened up the packs in the card. And one year, I think it was 2017, I opened it up. And you know who Jason Tatum is, right? The player for Boston. See, that is cool. I don't know. That's actually, I don't think that's a parallel. There's no numbers on the back, is it?
No,
but that's still kind of
just like another insert. Yeah.
Just a cool insert, yeah. But I opened up, I got a Jason Tatum silver out of a $20 box, rookie, and I sold it that night on eBay for $230, $130-something, I think.
Why do you think it went that?
Because it was the right player at the right time. That's a green one. Unfortunately, not numbered, but they're a little bit better than the silvers. Well, actually, I'd say the silvers. It's nuanced, but yeah. They'll have like so many different patterns. There's elephant prints, tiger stripe prisms. There's like all these weird variations.
Oh, this is a cool one. Not numbered, but.
Oh, that's awesome. Charlotte
Flair. So. All right, so as you can see, I opened up 5 packs, and
that's how money. That's where, but hopefully you you enjoyed the process. You got to look at opening boxes as an entertainment cost. That's how I consider if I'm buying for myself. But at this point, quite frankly, I'm doing my channel, I'm filming it. It's a write-off because I'm making content out of it. I'm also reselling the stuff. But if it wasn't that, it would be an entertainment cost, the same as going to a movie, or gambling here in Vegas. But occasionally you can win. But the real play, I mean, is gosh, there's it's just like anything. If you're going out picking at a garage sale, you're looking for stuff that's undervalued. And I feel like in the card community as a whole, which I'm kind of now becoming a part of, there's a lot of people focused on getting these graded cards that are worth $10,000 and saying, you know what, I'm getting it before the start of the season and I hope the card will go up. And a lot of times the card goes down or it doesn't go up much. It's speculation. It's stock market play. You know, it's not wise in general. And that's not really where we come from. We come from going to garage sales, finding undervalued stuff right now and putting it in the correct market, arbitrage, right? To sell it at the price it's worth. And that's what I feel like I'm doing and showing people with cards. I'm going in these card boxes, I'm buying collections or something, and I'm getting them for pennies on the dollar, and they're worth a couple dollars. So I'm making money immediately. So that's how I play.
And then you got to know, like you said, you got to find those disregarded cards that may have a little value to them.
There's so much of those. There's so many people in this community, in the card community, pretty much look at anything under $20 is just junk. And that's the thing. I've seen, just junk, and they'll put $20 cards in a box for $5 or $3 or $1. And then, and then you can go in there and buy those cards for $1 or $2 or $3 or $4 or $5, and you could sell them for that 15, 20 if you're willing to put them on eBay yourself. And there's a lot of ones that are bigger sometimes too. So if you know what you're doing.
I lost my train of thought. So you're digging through like these dollar boxes, right? $5 boxes or whatever. And you're finding those disregarded cards, the ones that may be worth a little more. How often are you finding like that stack of cards you found today? Like how long did it take you to find those stack of cards?
That was like 45 minutes. So that is actually
that's
a really
not
bad. That's a good point, because not every time I do these dollar box or these bargain box bins, it's a great ROI. If you want to do this like full time, like I'm doing, to be fair, I'm not doing reselling full time at this point. Content creation is a good part of what I do. I mean, you can consider them both part time or 2 full time jobs, however you want to consider it. But I'm not relying on my card revenue to pay my bills. But if you are, the key, and this is what I've done in the past, the real key, and I haven't been able to show it too much because I haven't had that many opportunities in the 2 months I've had my card channel, is going out and getting deals done. Like I'll go to a card show and they'll have a box, a bargain box, dollar cards. I'll try to buy the whole box.
The whole box.
What I mean? Yeah. Like there's been times where I've gotten 1,500, 2,000 cards. And instead of paying $1 a piece, I paid 15 cents a piece. And then I'm selling some cards at $1.50, some cards at 20. And that's like, I have boxes and boxes and boxes and boxes of cards in my stock that I honestly bought like the last couple years, and I haven't been able to process. But now that I have a Fujitsu scanner and I have a program for my cards, a card shop dealer pro kind of program, I can use AI to scan these cards and get them into eBay a lot quicker. And I move a lot through Whatnot, honestly, a lot, because it's just easy.
Okay, nice. We'll talk about that for sure here in a little bit.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of nuance.
Yeah, Lisette is saying you're close to 1 million on TikTok. I haven't even, man, I've fallen off that TikTok train hard.
Yeah, like TikTok's a funny thing. Like I have not focused on TikTok much at all for the last 6 months. Without getting too much into the weeds and TikTok talk, they've recently kind of changed things up to where if you're doing minute videos, they'll pay you more. It just, quite frankly. So I've been doing a little bit more minute. Like if you go on my TikTok on my main channel, it's all minute plus videos now, because they will pay you, 80 cents, 90 cents, $1 per 1,000 views. So it's a lot more profit, but TikTok is a much more casual viewer. Like more people would know me or recognize me if they do it all from like the podcast, which has, 6,000, 7,000, subs or whatever, than they do from TikTok, because it's like TikTok's like, you're in the bathroom, you're just scrolling through and whoever pops up, you're not even asking for that stuff and it just pops up. So it's a more casual view. It's junk
for
food,
sure.
Exactly.
Des Hardy, how often do you come across bogus cards at garage sales? Probably not a lot, right?
I mean, I find cards that I know to be kind of
fugazi,
non-licensed, I guess you would say. I don't really typically find, the only stuff that I feel like super counterfeited is like a Michael Jordan rookie. I'm never buying a Michael Jordan rookie, probably. And if I did, I'm not buying one that isn't graded, because you need that authentication. Yeah, but for the most part, most cards aren't like that. if that makes sense.
It's same with, I think it's, because I'm more of the TCG, I'm more Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, kind of that route, and you're more of the sports, so I can kind of
which may be even more popular than the sports cards, honestly.
But there isn't, like you said, there is a nuance in that too. So, and yeah, it's like two worlds colliding, and I can tell a fake Pokemon card like that. Like I can look at it and be like, that's a fake Pokemon card, like all day. But all right, Carrie, let's move on to our first segment of the show, and we'll keep talking about cards, overrated, underrated. 10 different subjects, 5 being reselling related, 5 not being reselling related or card related. But before we do want to give a shout out to the sponsor of the podcast, is that our friends over at My Reseller Genie. We actually had I'm drawing Paul and Faith on our podcast last week. So if you guys want to learn more about My Reseller Genie, go check out that episode of the podcast because it was awesome. And use code Nashville Flippers, all caps, and you're going to receive 15% off your first month. So what is Amanda saying? Carrie, there are 4 accounts with the same logo as the picture, but the name is misspelled. Is that your people in person? Oh, you haven't. That's why he's got the little check mark, right, Carrie?
Yeah, that's why I got the check mark now, yeah. I'm sure I have especially on TikTok, there's probably a couple people who have literally, I know I've reported several that have taken my name or whatever. And it's not a name it's kind of like a weird name to begin with, kind of a particular name. If you don't know who I am, it's like people don't know how to say it, it's definitely people copying me, but I don't care. Will
the real Carrie please stand up?
I guess if they started like aggressively trying to get money from people, then I'd be more worried about it. But I haven't heard any stories from anybody yet. So
that's good. That's
what a lot of those accounts do. They're
Number 1, let's talk about the eBay vault. Overrated, underrated?
I think vaults are overrated in general. I don't want any of my resale goods in possession of other people because I don't know much about law, but I do know that possession is 9/10 of the law, or whatever they say, 9/10 of.
I don't know. I never understood that saying.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, like, if they have all your stuff, say they decided to stop doing the vault, eBay has all the control in that situation. I trust eBay. They might be an exception, but in general, it's very popular in the card space to send everything into PWCC's vaults, which is a card place.
Yeah.
And I'm not a super big fan of vaults. There's some nuance to that as well. I've sent lower end cards to other services, but like vaults are typically for high end cards. Like you have a Mickey Mantle rookie. You put it there, and then basically you can have the card there, and then you could sell it on their platform and have it just digitally transferred without you having to do any work.
Kind of like an NFT.
But kind of similar to, and then there are actually vaults out there that are creating companion NFTs to go along with your physical. It's hogwash for the most part, in my opinion. But like vaults, right. Vault, eBay vault. I mean, if you're curious about vaults, that would be the one I would try. I personally don't think they'll be around in 5 years, but I could be way wrong. At least eBay's.
Remember, boy, Matt coming in from Facebook. We are simultaneously streaming on Facebook as well, Carrie. And I tried to do it on Whatnot. So to stream the podcast on Whatnot, I couldn't figure it out.
On Whatnot. I think that's a big play. Podcasts on Whatnot.
So I tried to figure it out, and I don't know. I just didn't have time to fiddle with it as much as I wanted to.
Not because people don't realize. Sorry, I'm going to get nerdy about Whatnot.
No, let's do it. I'm nerdy.
Yeah, what people oftentimes undervalue Whatnot for is the fact that it's a super social media site. It's not just about reselling. It's a reselling social media site. And people focus almost primarily on the reselling aspect of it. And in a podcast or just a chat, a live show, they do giveaway shows, like stuff like that. That's not even about necessarily making money. Could be a huge play, I think, on Whatnot.
Yeah, so I'm gonna figure it out, and we'll have the podcast on there.
I had the energy. I would do it.
I know. I ran out of energy today, and I was like, I'm done with it today. So Matt has a question. What social media platform do you enjoy engaging with the most?
YouTube. YouTube is probably my favorite. YouTube just feels like when you put the work in, you kind of know what kind of results you can get. Whereas Facebook or TikTok or Instagram feels a little bit out of your control, a little bit more. Like it's more everything's connected to the algorithm, but I feel like the YouTube algorithm is a little bit more manageable. So I like YouTube a little bit more. It's more
There you go.
consistent.
The Bargain Boxer is saying, carries my spirit animal. If you don't hold a card, you don't own the card. There you go.
Amen. Amen. There you go.
Money Hustle is saying, this guy is just saying he makes $1 for 1,000 views on TikTok. On his video for 3 days ago, made 75,000. Who made that much?
No, that would be $75 if I had 75,000 views.
No.
I would have to have 75 million. And also, here's the thing about that thing is like they don't count every view, you know. So I don't even know what that means. So, but it's actually with that a little bit more profitable to spend your time on TikTok. I mean, I love doing TikTok and it's fun, and I'm focusing more on like my classical TikTok approach on my cards channel because I want to establish myself in the community. But at this point, I'm established for garage selling on TikTok, and it's a slow go to get it up to 1 million at this point. It's going to take a while. So I'm trying not to put too much focus on it, or it'll drive you crazy.
Yeah. We're here to have fun. You just got back from Collecticon, didn't you, Carrie?
Yeah, man.
How was that experience? I've always wanted to go.
So first off, like out of my element, because that is mostly a TCG Pokemon show. Yeah. So first off, they had like I went with sports card people, like one of two groups of sports card people. I went with the people I work with, Collects app, where you can. It's kind of like the TCG Player app, but for sports cards. You can scan and then it'll tell you what your card's worth. And they also own the Card Dealer Pro software, which is what I use to upload my cards. So I went with them to do a talk at a conference, and I was looking for sports cards. They had like 2 booths in the whole shop that and the whole thing that had any sports cards. But the funniest thing I thought was amazing. The one big giant card booth that they brought in for people like me, they like actually recruited them to come in because they knew there was going to be some sports card people. So I was sitting there, and it was right by the stage where they had performances and where they had the people signing autographs. So I'm sitting there going through boxes like a nerd for 4 or 5, 6 hours, like ridiculous amount of time. And then all of a sudden there's this dude up on stage going, "Gotta catch 'em all." And I'm like, dude, that sounds just like the Pokemon. It was Jason Page. The Pokemon. Yeah, it was like, and I'm like sitting here like these people are freaking out, you know, and I get hyped up and like excited by that. Like, I just like, that's cool. And then it made me want to learn more about Jason Page and why he's so pop, you know, like the song.
Didn't he used to sing backup for Michael Jackson? Isn't that one of his things too?
Good singer. He's got a good spirit, a good vibe. Yeah. I really enjoyed that. And then they had after him, like there's like a 30-minute lull. And I'm at the card thing and 100 feet away, very much in view. I can see the stage. It's really a weird experience. Tone Loc came out, you know, Funky Cold Medina.
Yeah.
And he just,
that's random.
You know, corporate gig. Nobody's really there. It was just so fascinating. I'm just like, what a weird world that I just decided to do this random card thing after years of procrastinating. Then I meet up with these people. They fly me out to Dallas. Now I'm looking through cards in Dallas, listening to Tone Loc. I'm like, man, the world is weird.
It's weird.
It's all.
It's crazy.
It's all molecules.
Did you get to meet any other PokeTubers while you were there? Like,
there was
like Real Breaking Nate, Leonhart.
He was right by us. I didn't talk to him, but the people in my booth did. Here's the thing with me with like social media people. I'm pretty gregarious when people come up to me. I'm pretty friendly, I feel, and I like talking to people. I'm very shy when it comes to go up to people that I know. Does that make sense?
Gotcha.
Like I've always been like that. So like I have a hard time like breaking the ice with people that I'm like following and that I'm into. And I don't know Leonhart. I know who he is, or Lionheart. I just don't follow him. Real Breaking Nate was a dude I talked to for like when I started TikTok a lot, which
he's so cool.
Yeah. He might have talked to you. He's a very nice guy, but then like we kind of just grew up, you know, just like we stopped talking, not for any bad reason, just things happen. But yeah, no, I would love to meet him in person. He's a very, very nice guy.
Yeah. He's got a good Pokemon podcast. It's called the Shadowless Podcast with him and a couple other Pokemon.
Yes. He's been doing that for years and years. He used to talk to me about that. Yeah, I've listened to it. I don't understand anything that's happening. But Pokemon's another thing. Like, I totally understand that it is insanely nuanced because I go into Pokemon stuff like card boxes. I am so lost, but I also know this. You know, the self-awareness thing. I'm never going to be that guy. I just, if there's something obvious, like, I mean, if there's a Charizard first edition PSA 10 and it's in a $1 box, I'm picking that up. I'm not dumb.
And that's not going to
be
PSA
there,
10
obviously.
anything, you know?
Yeah, anything PSA I would pick up at $1,
Yeah.
but even PSA 8 or 9, I would do it just for fun, or even less,
Oh, for
because it's
sure.
just older. It would cost 15 or 20 bucks. But
Yeah.
yeah, I know enough to probably not lose a major find in Pokemon or Magic, but beyond that, I don't have a clue. Unless it's so
See,
cheap that you can't.
That's where we are right now. So I feel like I'm that guy in the Pokemon world. I feel like that in the sports stuff. You know, we're like
Yeah.
opposites here, Carrie, you know?
Yeah,
Because I
no.
want to at least know enough to where I'm coming across something that it's like, oh, this is it's like this Dusty Rhodes. If I didn't know any better, it's like, oh man, this Dusty Rhodes is red, white, and blue card. This is probably worth like $50 or $100, but like knowing it's like this isn't worth anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like I want to have that knowledge enough to
I
at
think
least be dangerous.
Yeah, that's the way. That's how I am with everything, though. That's a good way to put it. I want to just have enough knowledge in almost every genre humanly possible, which is impossible, but that's my goal, to be dangerous enough, you know, to at least know that I should look that up. Because you just need to have that cue. Just know enough to have the cue. Because you wouldn't lose if you saw that card in the wild and you're like, that looks cool. You look it up, you don't lose. You might lose a little time, but you're not going to. If it was valuable, you'd find out. And if it wasn't valuable, which it is, you'll know. But then you'll know, okay, these red, white, and blue Prism random wrestler cards aren't worth anything. But or at least in the most part, there's nuance.
I do have a Hulk Hogan rookie card, and I have the parallel to that one too. That I've been meaning to get graded, but
those are valuable.
Haven't sent anything
those
in.
80s wrestling cards can be wildly expensive.
Yeah, holding they call it the Hogan belt, where it's the only belt that he had at the time. But all right, moving on. Number 2, cherry limeade from Sonic. Overrated or underrated, Carrie?
I'd say underrated. It's really tasty. I haven't had it. That's like a treat. Like I don't have it that much, but when I have it, it's an occasion. It's a celebration.
It's a celebration. Route 44 cherry limeade from Sonic.
Dude, I like it. I dig it. I want to go get some now.
They're delicious. All right, moving on. Number 3, overrated, underrated. Number 3, Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card. Overrated, underrated.
Underrated. Ken Griffey Jr. rookie. People don't understand. Like, well, yeah, I think it's undervalued. I mean, here's the thing: nothing's undervalued. It's worth what people are going to pay for it. Okay, so it's worth what it's valued at. But to my personal opinion, it is a more valuable card than much more expensive cards out there, if that makes sense. I would value that more if I was putting a value on it. The Ken Griffey Jr. card, for those, I'm 39 years old. I remember vividly going to one of my best friend's house, right? And his older brother, who was cooler than us because he was older, he was like, guys, check this out, I got to show you something. He pulled out a 1989 Upper Deck set, factories. I mean, it was open, so it wasn't sealed. And he pulled out the Ken Griffey Jr. card, wouldn't let us touch it because he wasn't crazy. And I felt like he was holding like the Holy Grail. Like, I'm not even joking.
Yeah.
It was like a moment. I was like, how is that humanly possible for you to own that? Are we all rich? We're here. Are we rich by association?
Yeah.
So that's what it felt like. So no, that card is the card for anybody my age in sports cards. It really is. So it's vastly underrated. And a lot of things happen with Ken Griffey Jr. where he spent the second half of his career super injured, and it kind of devalued that card, where if he hadn't had the injuries, he would be the best ever, I would have, in my opinion. So
it's a shame, right?
It is.
So did he play for the Braves at all? Didn't he? Or no, wasn't there a rumor that he was going to get traded to the Braves before
I don't know.
Cincinnati? I think
there might have been. I'm sure there was a lot of what he postulated, a lot of things where the team was like, we're going to trade you if you don't do this. But yeah, he played with the Seattle Mariners, and then the big deal was him in the late 90s going to the Reds because his dad had played for the Reds. Ken Griffey Sr. He's part of the Big Red Machine, and then he just got injured every year with the Reds, and then he played for the White Sox and went back to the Mariners to end his career, I think. So that's another thing. You want to talk about random sports trivia? That's my thing, dude. I don't know why.
I love it. I think the rumor is that who was the manager for the Braves at Bobby
Cox.
Bobby Cox wouldn't allow any children in the clubhouse, and King Griffey Jr. wanted to bring his kids in, and that's why he didn't end up going to the Braves. That's what I heard. I mean, I don't know how true it is.
Yeah, Trey, his son, was with him everywhere, just like because King Griffey Sr. took King Griffey Jr. to every game too. So I mean, it was an important part of what he wanted. I don't blame him.
There you go. Our boy Chris Brown, he's a Nashville native. Yeah,
awesome,
Carrie.
man.
So, this is a good one. What do you think about Bo Jackson?
Dude, I love Bo Jackson. Bo Jackson's the best ever. Bo Jackson is super popular to this day with sports cards. I mean, autographs, I mean, it's not like he doesn't have like super high end stuff like rookie wise, because he was in the 80s and everything was overproduced. But there's certain Bo Jackson cards that are super popular that are in very overproduced 90s sets. There's the one where he's shirtless in his football pads holding the baseball bat.
Yeah, the bat.
It's like a $5 or $10 card. Every other card in that set's a nickel. That one's $5 or $10. There's another one called Bo Breaker, where he's breaking the bat, I think on his knee, which is like an iconic Bo Jackson moment. It's another $5, $10, $15 card. Raw, meaning ungraded, that you can find in dollar boxes. I mean, those are a little harder now because people know. But there was years and years where like you'd find that stuff all the time and people love it because he was he was on the cartoon. There was a cartoon in the early 90s called, I think, All Stars. It was him, Wayne Gretzky, Michael Jordan. And Bo Jackson was like, if you were in that era, Bo Jackson was as popular as Michael Jordan was.
Oh, facts. Yeah. There's here in town there's a really good like card shop, right? And every now and then they have like you can pay money and then you can get stuff signed. And Bo Jackson was doing autographs, but he had like this list of like he would not sign certain things, and one of them was the poster, the shoulder pads and bat poster, and a bunch of Texas stuff, and can't remember, like Funko Pops. He had like a really long list of stuff that he would not autograph. So I don't know why, but
could be contracts he had or just dealings
Auburn stuff. I said Texas stuff. Auburn.
So like his college stuff he wouldn't sell or he wouldn't sign. Interesting.
Yeah,
I don't care. I'd have him sign a napkin if he'd be cool with it, because I'm not an autograph. I was an autograph hound as a kid, like big time. Like I was bugging for autographs as a kid, but now I don't really. I just don't care anymore, like I did as a kid. But yeah, Bo Jackson, I would make a point to get his autograph.
There you go. All right, moving on. Another legend, Lionel Messi, number 4, overrated, underrated.
In America, he's underrated. We'll say that. I think he's underrated overall. I mean, he's arguably the GOAT. I'd say he's better than Ronaldo. And then the only other comparison would be like Pele, and that's just semantics at that point, which era you value more. But, there's some players like Mbappe, who I think very well will be better than Messi long-term if he stays healthy. Mbappe's incredible. That dude is incredible. I mean, I would put, I'm not a betting man, but I would guess he has a very good shot of being the best soccer player ever. Mbappe, that dude's just so good.
That's saying a lot, Kerry.
I know. I mean, we'll say he has a shot. We'll put it that way.
That World Cup game, oh man, one of the best games I've ever seen in my life.
That's part of it. Is just like how well he played in the World Cup, and I mean, Messi is, so good, and I mean, but just Mbappe. A lot of it is Mbappe's like 22 or something, 23. He's so young and he's so good. But as many players, they don't age well. They don't, there's a lot of factors. If he stays on this trajectory, which is, I guess, fair to say not likely, but I think it's very possible. I think he'll be the best ever. But I'd say Messi is underrated. I love soccer, man.
Oh, man. I just think of like that 98 World Cup. I was like the perfect age. And Ronaldo, the Brazilian Ronaldo.
Oh, yeah. Brazilian Ronaldo. Yes, I know who you're talking about.
Dude.
I still have a hard time saying Ronaldo and not thinking of Brazilian Ronaldo.
Brazilian Ronaldo.
Cristiano now.
Yeah. No, the OG Ronaldo. But all right, moving on. Number 6, overrated, underrated, Kevin's tattoo. Now, if you got to see this thing in person,
I'd say underrated. It's just the fact that Kevin got a tattoo is mind blowing.
It's wild.
I've seen it in person. I have no idea what it is. I've seen it. I don't know what it is.
If you were to describe it to the listeners here, Carrie, because I haven't seen a clean shot of it. I don't know what it is. Are we talking about tribal? Are we talking about like
I wish it was
like
that would have been
like what is it like?
I feel like what's that ink blot test? I feel like it's one of those.
Oh, like a Rorschach test?
Yeah, Rorschach test. It's just whatever you guys think it is. It's like a tree of some sort, maybe tree of life. I don't know. I haven't asked him. It's
like a tree.
I think it's some sort of tree. It's just. I mean, he is in hardcore, full on midlife crisis. I love it.
Does he have a motorcycle yet?
I'm sure if somebody would drive him around on one, I think he'd get one.
Yeah, he'll get one with like the two wheels on the back, like those really big ones.
If they get one with the sidecar, he'd be in the sidecar.
Yeah.
I'm all for making fun of Kevin where he can't. He's not here on this chat. He can't defend himself.
He's probably listening somewhere. Remember, Neymar had a crazy World Cup, but begin with Messi and Ronaldo. Wow, yeah, Neymar. See, it's hard to stay on top. That's what I'm saying. We're talking about Brazilian Ronaldo. He had a great beginning, but then he fell off due to injuries. So that's what I'm saying. Like Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo, they've been so good for so long, and hopefully Mbappe can stay on that route. And Neymar's kind of fallen off a little bit.
I'm kind of bummed out because like 20 years ago, I was on my Mormon mission in Mexico, and you probably heard of the brand Bimbo that does all the like
Bon Bimbo, the bread.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. The bread and all the cool sweet treats. And Bimbo made like soccer cards in there. They were like in the packs of bread, and there was like Cristiano Ronaldo cards. I remember. I didn't, and I loved cards. I think I had one or something, but I didn't keep it because I don't know. I wasn't thinking about that back then. But that's probably a fairly valuable card, especially like the Spanish Mexican edition. But,
I got one for you. I got one for you, Carrie. When I was a little kid, I can't remember the year, but the Pope was coming to Mexico. Pope John Paul II was coming to Mexico for like the first time. Sent like 100 years or something coming to Mexico. They had put Pope trading cards in the Lay's potato chips.
Sabritas.
Yes. So you can collect different Pope trading cards.
Dude,
Isn't that crazy?
I love that stuff. I love that. Like the weirder the better. Like Pope cards, I'm all over that.
It's crazy.
That's the kind of stuff. I love the oddball is what they call it. It's got so much nuance. I mean, that's religious. That has importance beyond sports cards to people. But yeah, that would have been cool to have.
J-My says, a tree sounds like he's branching out.
Yes. He's trying to get somebody else to buy another shed is my guess. That's my guess.
That's right. I could have had a rookie Pope card.
I know. The John Paul
Mexican Pope card. John Paul II. Exactly. It was wild. They had commercials and the commercials and everything. It was.
I love that stuff. I love that stuff. That's dope.
It was great. All right, moving on. I don't know how to pronounce the second part. Overrated, underrated. Disney Lorcana TCG.
Lorcana,
the new Disney.
Dude, you're on the pulse of the hobby right now. Yeah, Lorcana is a big topic right now. It's supposed to be like Disney's Pokemon clone, basically. And there's a person, if you guys want to get in the weeds with sports cards, there's a guy named Sports Card Investor. He has like 250,000 subs on YouTube. And he talked about how Disney Lorcana was going to blow Pokemon out of the water, which is, in my opinion, completely insane.
That's insane.
I think it will be lucky to survive. We'll put it that way. If it could get any sort of foothold, I mean, it is cool subject matter. I mean, Disney stuff is very popular. There was a new Disney set that came out recently called Disney 100 by like some German brand that was super popular. I think there's a chance that it could, I don't think it'll even stick around for more than a year or two, in my opinion.
Really?
But definitely overrated. And I would say, the idea that it could even compete with Pokemon is absolutely insane. But who knows? I could be completely wrong.
I mean, there's the generations of Pokemon lovers. People don't understand the whole premise of Pokemon is kind of catch them all, which is the perfect. You got to get every one of them.
It's
get
such
everything.
A great marketing. It's insane. such a great idea. Whoever came up with that should just be in a beach somewhere, not working at this point, because they've made a Wizards of West. Who owns Pokemon? Whoever, a lot of money.
Their own, the Pokemon company. It used to be Wizard of the Coast, but then they do their own thing. But yeah, it's insane. But we'll see what happens with this Disney. Hey, I got my first edition box on reserve right now, Carrie.
Dude, I will definitely buy some. I mean, if it's not like ridiculously expensive, and it would be fun, and I'll sell them. But I don't know if it'll catch. It's not. It can't be Pokemon or Magic even, or any of.
We'll see what
Yu-Gi-Oh.
happens. I mean, there is like a whole Disney collector thing, but how many Disney collectors are collecting TCG cards?
Yeah, that's kind of a subset niche. What would be their best case scenario? Disney pins, like the collectible pins, would it be that level of popularity? I think that would be like the high end level that I could see, but I could be wrong. Which is a pretty good niche.
We'll see what happens. All right, number 8, Carrie, overrated, underrated, a trading card scanner. I know that you mentioned a little bit of this before. Oh, I skipped one. Okay, trading card scanner.
Underrated. Completely.
Tell us about it, because I don't know anything about it. Like the software, the scanner. Is it just like a scanner?
Yeah, it's technically like these Fujitsu's. They're named. They changed names of the company. It's Raiko now, but it's Fujitsu Raiko. Basically, they're made for document. Like they're mostly sold to hospitals as document scanners for like I don't know, whatever paperwork is at a hospital. You could use it to scan your passport, stuff like that. But the way it's broke down, you can basically change the size of the stuff you put through down to a card size. So
Gotcha.
I mean, you could do 60 cards a minute. I would say underrated if you want to do what I'm doing. If it's overrated for a regular card seller, in the sense that you don't really need this unless you want to be selling hundreds of cards, a month or more. And that's what I have. Just the one up in the middle top, or the one on the far
This
right
one?
is what I have. Yeah, that
This
one.
one?
That's exactly what I had. That's what I have right there.
Gotcha.
And this is the thing,
this is
like,
just scanning the card. It's not. Is it damaging the card when it goes through?
I mean, like it shoots the card at like you could. The cool thing is you could actually have them in top loaders and it'll do it. Like meaning the
wow.
The cases.
Yeah,
or
that's
you could
cool.
just shoot them, or you could push them through without anything. And oftentimes I'm selling a lot of $1.50 cards, so it's not really graded stuff. Like people don't care, and it's not really messing the cards up. So I just put them through and catch them in a little box. But like I have let me show you. Sorry, I have like this little box that had, I don't know, business cards in it, and I just shoot the cards into that, and that's all. But yeah, no, it's helped a lot. And to be honest, I'm the cheapest person in the world, and this is a $850 unit. And when I started doing content, this is how you do it. I learned this from people like Kevin. When you start doing content and get a little traction, I worked it out with Card Dealer Pro. They gave it to me.
Nice.
I don't know if I'd have one if I didn't get it for free, because I'm so cheap.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of money. So yeah, no, they had a floor model that they used. They just gave me one of their floor models.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then I'm like, I'll do some. And plus, I love their product. So I mean, I have no problem working with them and talking about their product, because I legitimately use it and love it. But yeah, it worked out. I leveraged that a little bit to get the scanner. And if you have any kind of internet clout, like a podcast, whatever, you can do stuff like that a lot more than you think.
There you go, guys. Get that clout. So you're scanning the cards.
Worth something, I hope.
And you're posting them on eBay, like the scan. That's how you're doing it?
So I'm at like 5,500 listings right now on eBay, probably like over 5K or cards. And I don't think I'd really been over 1,000 listings consistently ever, as of 6-7 months ago. So the Card Dealer Pro software especially is what, like, I mean, I could sit down and I need to do this video, and I'm probably going to do it this week on my card channel, which is like, I'm going to list 1,000 items in a day, and it's going to be cards, and it's going to be using the scanner. And if I focus, it might only take me like 3 hours, 2 hours, 3 hours. So, which is insane to think about.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's a game changer, a complete game changer. So, but that's because of the software too. So I wouldn't, that's for people who want to do bulk cards, which could be very well, even for Pokemon, if you're they don't have a program yet for Pokemon with Card Dealer Pro, but they're working on it. I think they'll have it in the next couple months, which would, I mean, as soon as they have it for Pokemon, I am buying Pokemon collections and putting them through too. So
That's smart. That's smart.
You know, at $1, you know, I know that's really nuanced. Pokemon freaks me out. Like, I always get a cool looking shiny card. I'm like, this is dope. And I go on eBay and it's like $40 free, 40 cents free shipping. I'm like, what? Who the hell's selling this? Why?
Right. Surprisingly, I had my last Whatnot, and we'll go into this overrated, underrated Whatnot. We'll start with that.
Massively underrated. I still think people massively underrate it and hate it for no reason. I could understand it being ridiculous.
I was in that boat in the beginning, for sure.
It's hard. It's not easy, and it's not eBay. It's not like you build it and they will come. It's more than that. It's literally, to this day, I still have terrible auctions. Like, to this day, and I have a following there. Like, and I've had 100 people in an auction and nobody buying. So it's not always the numbers.
Exactly.
One thing I've learned about doing auctions for years is anytime you think you have your finger on the pulse of the auction community, you're completely wrong. You know, it ebbs and flows. And the way I look at Whatnot is you have to use it for what it is. It's a way to move stuff at volume, in my case, you know, and as long as you are making your money in the buy, right, you're buying low enough that you can start a lot of stuff out at $2. In worst case scenario, you don't lose, you know, and then a lot of stuff goes for more. And what I've been doing, like with the card auctions, is I will go buy some $1, $2 cards, you know, and then I have a bunch of bulk that I bought in those collections at pennies or 15 cents a piece. And then I'll just start adding cards. Like, I will put 2 of the $2 cards up, and then I'll just start stacking and showing cool shiny cards, numbered cards, autos. And then, you know, I've had lots go up to like $60, $70 that way. And,
wow.
You know, I can make, and that's just something I kind of lucked into. But there's times where I put the same amount of cards up that got me 70, similar level of quality, and gotten $4. So, but I've had it built in to where even when it goes for $4, I'm probably breaking even, or, you know,
smart.
But I made a lot on the other lot. So it's just the way I tell people to handle Whatnot is go into Whatnot, looking at everything you have, maybe add it up in your head. And typically what you think your total is going to be is about right. How you get there is typically a trip. You know, the item you're like, this is a $40 item on eBay, goes for $3 on Whatnot. And then your item that was $5 on eBay, for some reason, 2 people wanted it and it went for $28. That happens a lot. Like, it's a different dynamic. But if you want to do Whatnot, you have to be consistent and you have to have a vision. You have to realize it's social media too. It's not just the eBay. You have to build it up. You have to be animated. You have to, I don't know. You've seen our Whatnots, a lot of you guys, and they're just stupid a lot. We're just joking around, being ourselves, trying not to take it too serious. You still get upset when things don't do well. You're only human, but you know, I don't say I love Whatnot. I think it's underrated for sure.
I mean, the volume of, we'll sell on our show, you know, when we're selling electronics, it's easy to sell 70 items all day long, and they'll sell. And we're starting off everything at $7, and if it sells for $7, we're breaking even with fees and everything, because we get everything from the bins for like $5.
Yeah.
You know, so, and then surprisingly, the items that we would pass on in the past for eBay, now we're picking up stuff that we would never buy because we know we can sell it on Whatnot and make a profit. You know, just like
everybody knows that, like, Don loves plushes, and this kind of allows us to go out and buy plushes because we know, you know, owls or dolphins or whatever sell well because people just think they're cute. You know, you could sell a Beanie Baby on Whatnot if it's cute. It's not about it being valuable. It's about how cute is it, or how adorable are the eyes, or whatever. So it allows you to buy different kinds of stuff.
Or how the person's selling it, you know, because you're basically a salesman and you're showing the item. And I feel like that's a big thing, because if you come across a Whatnot that's boring, you're not going to want to buy anything, or just the quality.
Yeah, the key, there's so many keys. I love Whatnot as far as like the talking shop about Whatnot, but one of the major keys is pacing. One of my biggest pet peeves as a person who buys on Whatnot is when people take forever to get to the next item. I take pride in like getting to the next item as fast as humanly possible. Okay, you don't like that item? Cool, I get it. There's going to be another one coming right up. And if you go in our list of items and find something you want us to run right now, we're putting it in line and it'll be up in a second. So that's very important. And then also what people, I think, undervalue Whatnot for is the entertainment aspect of it. You want people in your Whatnot auction that aren't buying. That sounds stupid, but you want people coming in there to hang out with you, kind of like a live. And then the people who come in there and hang out with you will buy eventually, or may buy without thinking they were going to buy because they were just having such a good time. They're like, okay, I got to have this, or
I got to support
I've
them somehow.
enjoyed it's kind of like a super chat in ways sometimes. So.
Yeah.
And then when you
Insider-
have that kind of environment, people want to hang out, then they want to support you. And then hopefully they're getting deals if they're flipping, or they're getting stuff for their family or whatever. So
nice. Insider baseball here, Carrie. You know, being in the electronic category, the person that is leading it, the GM, he does such a good job. So he gets all the electronic people together on like a weekly call, and we kind of spitball ideas. One of the things that they're working on and should roll out at the end of the month is a tip feature, kind of like a super chat, to where the buyer is going to be able to tip the seller and not have to send anything. And then the seller gets 100% of the money beside, no commission or anything. And the buyer can choose how much money they want to tip, not necessarily like a $5, increment.
I'm not saying like we deserve it. I'm not saying any of that, but it makes total sense because it is a lot more similar to YouTube lives and TikTok lives than people give it credit for. There is that total aspect of people just coming to hang out with us on a Thursday night, and I always want my auction to be a place where there's a lot of times I'm broke. I can't spend any money, but I want to, have entertainment. I want to go hang out, and I want people to be like, I'm going to go hang out with Karen and John and Jesse or Sonny, whoever we have with us, and have a good time and a laugh. And, whether they buy from us this time, maybe they'll buy from us next time. Maybe they'll never buy from us, and that's fine because they'll watch YouTube. They'll do other stuff. Or, you just make friends and you hang out and life's a little bit more pleasant. So
there you go.
Either way, I think Whatnot is massively underrated, and I think it gets a lot of undue hate. I can understand, though, part of that because it is really tricky and it is hard and harder when you don't have a following, but you know how a following works. It's freaking, we earned it. We're making content with the following. It didn't just get given to us. You know what I mean? We had to make content for a long time to get any kind of following.
Yeah. Got that right. Yeah. Well said, Carrie. Moving on. We're getting down to the nitty gritty here. Overrated, underrated, number 9, Bad Bunny.
Oh gosh, man. I don't really listen to his stuff that much, but I'd probably say underrated would probably be my guess because I don't know his stuff and I probably should because he's very popular.
He's a great wrestler, Carrie.
Yes, wasn't he at one of the wrestling things recently?
Mm-hmm. They just had a wrestling, they call it like super shows or super events now, in Puerto Rico, and he had a great match.
That's awesome.
So
that's cool. I love that, like the crossover stuff and people getting into different arenas. I think it's cool.
I mean, he's been a wrestling fan all his life, and now he gets to be in the ring. You know what I mean? Like, how cool is that?
See, like I'm not as up to date on like my Latino music like I used to be. Like I'm still like thinking like Daddy Yankee's like brand new, and I know he's not. Man. He's been around forever.
Yeah. He's an OG for sure. For sure. Des is saying, I'll do stickers and super chat. I stay away from auctions. I have no control. LOL. Okay.
That's fair. That is an issue.
Lisa's saying, you two are just great human beings, very smart yet caring as well. People need community. Thank you. Thank you, Lisa. That's very kind of you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on, Carrie. This is a good one. Going back to cards. Grading companies that are not Beckett or PSA. Overrated, underrated.
Underrated, 2 companies, SGC and CSG. I really like, so we can get nerdy if you want.
Let's go.
I really like CSG. CSG is the same company that does, they have different names. I forgot all the names. They're the same people who do the coin grading, which is PSG, I believe. One of the biggest. So they have the infrastructure to be massive because they're trying to grade everything. I think they're getting into VHS. They're getting into video games. So I like them. And SGC is kind of taken second place in grading over Beckett. I would say Beckett is overrated and probably will go the way of the dinosaurs with the way they
really. You think so?
Yeah. Which is insane because anybody who's kind of been doing this for a while, you've probably followed cars for a while. It's always been PSA and Beckett, always. Mm-hmm. And Beckett, it wasn't even close. And at this point, Beckett is like 4th, I think, in who's monthly subs behind SGC and CSG, and PSA is number 1 by a mile.
I didn't know that. I had no clue.
SGC is pretty aggressive. Sorry,
SGC. Well, they have They have like the tuxedo. That's what they call them,
Yeah,
the
people like
tuxedo.
tuxedo. It's like an all black case. It just looks
Yeah.
classy, I guess people say. Yeah, if you want to show the different cases, yeah, it's the all black, kind of like that black mat behind it. See, go back. If
looks
you go back
great.
one, it showed that night. They got all these specials, $15 grading. And the big thing is it said 5 to 10 day turnaround. This is great.
Yeah.
You can send Bowman or Topps for $9, which is insanely cheap, and it's supposed to get back to you within 20 days. This is big because PSA and Beckett, as of just recently, you were sending cards in. There's people who sent cards in 2019 and 20 that are just getting stuff back. So having that ridiculously fast turnaround at that price makes people like me who are not graders think about grading. I actually was thinking about sending some Bowman into SGC because it was so fast and so cheap. Where I'm like, oh man, if I'm going to try it, these are the people to try it with. It's not as good as PSA, but the benefit is there's a lot of benefit if you get a new product. Bowman Wrestling just comes out and they'll grade it fast and you get it back quickly. You could be the first people to market it. You get that silly. And if you get that silly premium price, it makes sense. So you definitely, I don't suggest using this and then holding the cards hoping they're going to go up, because 99 times, well, maybe not that much, 90 times out of 100, they don't go up and you lose money.
I don't like the way CSG looks for Pokemon cards.
I
don't
kind of
that
like
blue.
I like the green one. They have different color ones. Like I like the green case for some reason. I'm a nerd, but yeah, they do comics. They do everything. I like the idea that they're kind of creating a Marvel universe of grading, which is smart. I think PSA should be getting into all those. I think PSA should be doing comic books. PSA should be doing, you know what I mean? It just makes
They do
sense.
Funko Pops, don't they? PSA?
I think
Who
they
does
do,
the
yeah.
Funkos? Yeah.
I think PSA does Funko. I don't know who does it beyond. Yeah, PSA does Funko.
Okay.
And then there's,
But
a
see,
lot of small.
here's
grading
my
companies
thought
that are-
process, Carrie. The let's say you have a first edition Charizard or a really nice Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card. Are you sending those high dollar ones into SCG or SGC, or are you sending them to like Beckett, hoping that you're going to get a Beckett Black Label?
I think nowadays most people are sending into PSA. I mean, I think the Beckett is just so down. I guess there's some people who are very serious about Beckett Black Label stuff, but I think that's lost a lot of momentum, honestly.
Interesting. So that's the word on the street in the card community.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think Beckett is really messed up their brand. Honestly, I don't know if they did it intentionally, and I don't really have an issue with Beckett per se, but it just seems like the community is not for Beckett right now. I wouldn't be spending money grading with them personally. I don't, but I'm also the guy who, to a certain degree, believes grading is a bit of a money-making scheme on their end. You know what I mean? I don't feel like it's, to me as a person, I don't feel like it's necessary in most cases. If I'm getting a Michael Jordan rookie, yes. But like, do I need my Luka Doncic graded? No. Does that make sense? Like high end, yes. But there's a lot of stuff being graded that isn't that. And that's the rub. So
my my other brother-in-law, he went to Goodwill yesterday and he stumbled across, let me see if I can pull up the picture. He stumbled across some graded Beckett cards at Goodwill. But the issue was that these graded Beckett cards were all promo Pokemon cards that would have came in any Pokemon box. So some moron back in 2020 got these graded and they're completely worthless because they're all just the free card that you would get in a box. Hopefully they got a 10 or something to try to flip it.
Yeah.
So
I am pro
junk cards.
I am pro buying those cards after they've been graded if they're priced right. Like once again, $1. I mean, those probably wouldn't be in $1 box, but I don't know what those are worth. But maybe up to like
They're
$5, they might be high.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like for example, if those were $1 a piece, I would pick those up and put them through whatnot because they look cool. There would be that level of it looks cool.
He did get one that got a 10. Beckett 10.
A Beckett 10 probably would get it up to, I would imagine, at least $20 or $30, but I could be wrong. I don't know Pokemon enough, but it's all like, I'm not big into grading because there is, it's a lot of speculation and it's a lot of, I don't know. There's a lot of people losing money grading. and there's definitely some
Mhm.
wins, but I feel like a lot of average people are losing money doing it. I could be wrong, but that's sometimes how I feel.
I agree. All right, Carrie. So moving on, we'll go to the next segment of the show. I know it's getting down to an hour. We're almost out of here. Skip or flip. I'm going to show you 3 items that recently sold on eBay. You're going to let me know if you would pick it up or if you would skip it. If you would find these in a box, bargain box, or at a garage sale, let me know.
Price.
Oh. So, yeah, these aren't going to be bargain price. First one up, Carrie. We have here Mickey Mouse Brave Little Tailor card. There's the
I would
back.
pick. Well, I would. First off, I think you just showed me that it was. It had the authentic thing, or like the. So I know it's going to be somewhat valuable. But I would say yes because it has Disney. Yeah, it
Say that
has.
again. I'm sorry.
That middle thing means I think it's what is it, eBay authentication or whatever. So it's probably got some.
And you need a
value.
place to store them that is safe.
But my
and
thing
secure.
is, since it says Expo on the bottom, makes me think it was something that was probably given at one of the expos, so it's harder to find. So I would buy that. Yes.
Yeah, it does say D23 Expo. So the Disney, I guess, Expo.
I would say yes, but it kind of throws you off because it doesn't look that fancy at all.
Not fancy at all. So Carrie's picking this up for sure, and this recently sold on eBay, Carrie, for $1,400.
Yeah, so if that was $1, I would pick it. And I'm just kidding. I would spend a lot more than that on. That's amazing. That's cool. I see. That's so weird, and that's new too. 2022. It's not even like an older one or anything, and it's Lorcana. So maybe interesting.
So they gave out these cards there at the Disney Expo, the Lorcana cards, 6 of them, I believe. Is this all of them? I can't. 6 of them. It was a Robin Hood, a Mickey Mouse, a Stitch, a Maleficent. I think this is it right here.
Dude, that's a whole graded PSA 10 set. They're asking what, $30,000?
Yeah,
they'll do that at the shows. If you were, so they had the Mint Collective here in Vegas, which I went to. But if you were like one of the vendors or one of the people who spent the extra money, they were giving out these specialty packs that all the cards were like numbered to 10. Like the card in there was numbered to 10. So they'll do that at those shows. They'll hand out some stuff that's pretty rare sometimes.
So I'm telling you, if that's any indication of what this Disney stuff is going to be like,
even if it's, there's a difference though between like the cards themselves being valuable and actually the culture and the game
demand.
being adopted and being as in demand as a whole as like Pokemon. I can't see that happening, but yeah, maybe some of the cards are going to be. I'm all for it, man. I think Disney would be a fun property to collect and flip and sell. Like as far as cards go, I'd be all over that.
All right, next one up, Carrie, skip or flip. We have here. You know how to put my boys in here since we're talking sports cards.
All
I
right.
have here a Derrick Henry card.
Yep, that is a downtown, I believe. That's a case hit, so 1 in 20 boxes. Derrick Henry downtown should probably be worth 150 to 300 would be my guess. So I would pick it up. I would flip it.
Okay, so this card sold for $250. So good call on that, Carrie. But here's the thing about these downtown cards. When I was doing this research, Carrie, I noticed, and we've touched on this a little bit here on the podcast, the different variations of stuff. I can't keep up. Like that downtown had like lasers on it, and then this one's like clear.
That's a good point. Yeah. So what that is that's a downtown from a different product. So that one's from Donruss clearly, I believe, and the other one's from regular Donruss. The basic thing you need to know is if it says downtown pretty much on any card, it could be a player that sucks. Well, I mean, if it's a really bad player, the low end might be 50, 60, $70 on the worst players, all the way up to a Patrick Mahomes or something that could be worth the most, or a Justin Herbert rookie. But they also have variations beyond this. They have gold downtowns, I believe, sometimes, and then they're numbered to 10. That will be fairly obvious. They'll be shiny.
Wow.
Yeah. Anything pretty much, if you see anything downtown, and you're not going to find them, they're too popular. They're too popular in the sports card community to be in dollar boxes. But like, there you go. Gold Downtown's number 10. Saquon Barkley, $1,000.
Let's see these sold comps. So these are all Donruss, correct?
Yeah, Donruss. Yeah, Panini makes them. Yeah, and then this is the case that if you pulled a gold Downtown out of a blaster box, yes, send it into PSA. Wait 2 months, you're fine. Like, that is one of the exceptions to the rule of grading. Like, for the most part, I say don't grade stuff. But those 1-of-1 gold vinyl, he should have graded. They should have graded that. In a PSA 9 or 10, that would have been, I don't know. I don't know how much more, but I would have graded that.
Yeah.
So that's one of a kind gold.
But
the whole numbering thing is a little bit of a farce at this point. Back in the day when they started numbering stuff, 1-of-1 was like, that is the only variation of that card. Now they will do a black 1-of-1 and a laser 1-of-1. There's just like so many of the, and they have 6 different ones that go to 10. So they're really not.
That's where
they are
lose me.
Yeah, exactly. So sorry, I got nerdy there. Before, a 1-of-1 card was like, that's the only card in existence. But now they make so many variations and several variations of the same style or the same player from the same year. So now, instead of having a card numbered to 10, there is 10 different variations or inserts of the same player from that year numbered to 10. So they're kind of diluting it a little bit, making it less special. So like when you go into a card box like I do and look through and you see a low numbered card from the 90s, that is not always more valuable, but it's significantly rarer because those were legitimately hard to find. They didn't make 50 variations of it. So
what would you say the best era of sports cards? I know there was like the 90s junk cards. Like, what would you say now?
I'd say it's definitely debatable, but the late 90s to early 2000s basketball and football in particular can be really, really good. We're talking Kobe Bryant to Tom Brady. So 96 to 2000. With basketball, there was a lot of pivotal sets that came out, like metal. Like if you go look up like the Metal Universe cards, they're just beautiful cards. There's a lot of very rare insert cards that would be like 1 in 20, 40, 50, 100 boxes. They had some cool ones like That's Jam cards where there was like almost like, I think it was like Smucker's Grape Jam in the background and Kobe or something
cool.
like Dunk. Where they had one called Jambalaya, which was a die cut, just weird, and part of the reason why those are so good is they're significantly rare, and the aesthetic is very 90s. Think Saved by the Bell, think like those iconic wild colorways. Everything in the 90s was like, remember those Gusher commercials where their heads would explode? Like everything was overdone and overblown. So the aesthetic is very popular as well, and I don't think that's going to go away. I think it's always going to be kind of like cool looking. They're not ugly cards. Or they're like so overdone that they're kind of cool looking. So I think that era is good, all the way to like Tom Brady stuff. Like, and the reason why a lot of time, like I love this about sports cards is like when Tom Brady was a rookie in 2000, nobody thought he was going to do anything. People were collecting Chad Pennington rookie cards. They were collecting T. Martin. I don't know, other guys.
T. Martin, let's go. UT.
Yeah, there's a lot of people getting rid of those cards or not holding on to them, and that's part of the reason why I feel like, there wasn't a ton of companies making his rookie. He was a 6th-round pick, so there's some sets where he's not even in it because they didn't think he would make it or he would be worth making a card of, which makes his rookies even more special.
I'm trying to remember. So, like NFL rookie card, would it be him in his college uniform or him in his pro uniform?
Brady has both. Most of his stuff is in, I think, his Michigan uniform.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So what do you think about now? Like now that the collegiate players are getting paid, are they going to have trading cards in college?
They do. I love it too. One of my favorite products out right now, and you can get these at Walmart right now. They're called Bowman University, made by Topps. And last year they came out with that because the NIL had just started the name image license thing, and they were getting a lot of these players who were still in college. You were getting the first cards of like Bryce Young last year when he was still in college, getting autographs of Bryce Young last year. But this year it's even better because now they have the rights to the players, but also signed contracts with the colleges, almost all of them.
Colleges.
So they have their logos. And so now it's like a full-fledged, like official card. Like one of the drawbacks of these lower end cards I'm buying for $2 is they don't have the uniform and the team name and stuff. And that's aesthetically important. So now you can go get, a Bryce Young autographed Bowman U card from this year in his Alabama gear with an autograph, with the Alabama logo. Great for a Crimson Tide fan, you know what I mean? Or, UT, who, you guys have Hendon Hooker or something this year.
Hendon Hooker,
was he?
Yep.
Yes.
He went to Pittsburgh.
He went to Pittsburgh.
No, did he?
So like
yeah.
I think he did. Yeah. And you can get his stuff in his UT gear. So, which is like, makes it, I think, a lot more collectible long-term, because that's one of my things when I go to these like low end boxes is a lot of it is I will buy players who didn't pan out in the NFL, but were great in college. For example, Jason White played at the University of Oklahoma in the early 2000s. He was a Heisman Trophy winner, sucked in the NFL. But are you going to tell me if you find that for $1 or $2, there isn't going to be an Oklahoma fan that won't pay you 10, 15, 20 bucks
That was
for his
me,
autograph?
man. I was a huge Oklahoma fan for that at that point. He had 2 ACL
and that's
surgeries.
A lot of those boxes. Like people don't have the knowledge of how good they were in college. There's a lot of players who were T. Martin. I bought a T. Martin Contenders 2000 rookie. Auto. And it's a $20 card because it's like the highest end T. Martin card you can get. And he was they won the national championship when he was there. So there's like, if you know that little stuff about history and sports, that can give you a little bit of an edge. But like, I don't know, I'm like a numbers stat geek. I don't watch him as much as I used to as a kid, but I'm just very into watching videos on YouTube and just trying to keep up with stuff because I'm interested in it. If I wasn't interested in it, I couldn't do it. I'm just like naturally interested in this stuff, and that's why it works. So if you like toys or beanie babies, you can do it. There we go, Will Levis.
What do you think?
Surprised his that Leaf stuff is so cheap. That's actually kind of wild to me. I think he's going to be a bust in my opinion, but
don't tell me that, Carrie.
Oh, is he on? Oh, shoot. Yeah, my bad. No, how about this? I think Malik Willis is going to be the best quarterback to ever play for the Titans. How about that? I say
he's fixing to get cut.
I know he is.
Yeah.
Liberty. Oh, that is Kevin's school right there. Liberty.
Oh, Liberty University.
Okay, let me take it back, man. I hope I don't. Yeah, I take it back. Will Levis is gonna be great, dude. I hope he's great. I would love to see them all do well. I don't have a lot of faith in him.
I don't think he's gonna be any good. I don't think he's gonna be
any good.
And that
sucks, but at least you didn't waste a first round pick on him. I think he was worth a shot at the pick you took him at.
Yeah, and we got Malik in the 3rd round, so it was worth.
Yeah, so I mean, like that's the thing. Like exactly, you didn't overbid or pay or whatever you want to call it for either of those players. So if they don't pan out, you'll just be, struggle maybe another year, and hopefully you can get a better quarterback next year.
So, like,
Tannehill's still serviceable too, I think.
Yeah,
right?
Tannehill gets a bad rap. He needed an O-line. He gets a bad rap. So, all right, here we go. Next one up, Carrie. Skip or flip. Okay, a little bit out of your wheelhouse, but we'll educate you on this. Okay,
let's do it.
Umbreon VMAX Pokemon card. There's the front. There's the back. It's a little off-center, so it's not a PSA 10.
I mean, I know what a VMAX is. It's like a full art VMAX. I mean, most of the stuff I see in this range is like seem to be like $2 to $10 cards. There's something special about this. Is this like from a convention or something? I'm going to say buy it, but I'm just thinking that, but I have no idea why. It's just a hunch. Is it like Starry Night in the background? It looks like Vincent Van Gogh.
It looks great, doesn't it? It looks good.
It's good.
Yeah. So here's some tips, Carrie. Some Pokemon tips for you, so you can become dangerous at Pokemon. Okay. Modern cards. Okay. This is easy. This is easy for Pokemon. Every year they come out with 2 to 3 different sets every year. Okay, that follow the video game. Okay, so that's easy. And then they reprint old sets or whatever for the modern stuff. Okay. So anytime you see what is called a full art like this, this is usually worth some good money because this is what you're looking for, the full art. And then if you go down to the bottom left, you'll see a set number. And this one, it says 215 out of 203. which doesn't make any sense. This is considered a full art secret rare. So there's cards past the initial set number.
Oh, so that 215 is past the 203.
Yeah, so anything past exactly.
See, that's money knowledge. That's really important. That's I did not know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, so anything past that number is called a secret rare that you won't see. It's going to be worth some money. So
I love it. You just put money in my pocket, man. It's going to happen 3 months down the road. I'm going to be at a card show, dude. I'm telling you. And I'm going to
see a card show. You'll see a full art.
I'm going to message you and I'm going to Venmo you $1.
There you go. You'll see a full art, and then you'll see the set number. And then there's a little logo to the left, and it's usually like an icon, and that's where it tells you what set it's for. But just go to a website. A good website to go to is my favorite website to look for TCG stuff. It's called TCG Player, which I think eBay recently purchased this website. So a good way to go is, they have Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Pokemon. Click on Pokemon and just type, you'll see the sets. The newest set is called Scarlet and Violet, which is that goes with the newest Pokemon game. Okay. So then just sort to high to low. And then you'll see the best selling, the most highest cards on here. So this one is selling for $60.
Because then that shows me what to like. That's always been my problem. Is like I don't know what to look for. Charizard, and then like the full art cards I knew, but like beyond that, like I don't like a hollow, reverse hollow. It doesn't seem like they hold it value in general.
So there you go, right here. So this is the stuff that you need to look for. And this is the new set, so a lot of people really, I don't know, they don't like it. But they have something called, they're implementing this new thing called an illustrator card, where they have artists do certain renditions of card, and they're really nice. So it'll be the same card, Carrie, but a different design, kind of like sports cards. Yeah. So it would be, and everything on there will be the same, but the art will be different. But going back to this Umbreon, and I'll share this, and you said you will pick it up. So this is an Umbreon, which is an evolution of Eevee. Eevee is one of the most popular Pokemon, period. People love Eevee. I would say sometimes even more than Charizard. So this is from the Evolving Skies set, which is one of the best modern sets that you can buy for Pokemon. It came out maybe 2 years ago. And this card sold for $550.
I love it, man. This is like a college course. I love this.
Yeah.
See, that is the thing. I would be into Pokemon if I understood it better, because I love, and I'm not joking, all cards. It's so terribly confusing for me because whatever reason, I just missed it as a kid as far as like being into it. Oh. So I think since I didn't have that early education like I did with sports cards, I'm definitely behind.
Yeah, I mean,
I know enough that if I see a VMAX for $1 or $2, I'm picking it up. But beyond that, I would have to look it up. And then now this is giving me some extra information. So
just look at that set number. If anything's over the bottom number, it's usually going to be worth some good money. And that they call it the Moonreon, the one that I just showed you. People love that card. I'm a little indifferent about it, and but it's a good one.
But that makes sense though. Like in sports cards, a good art card sometimes can add a lot of value just because people like how that card looks. That's why those Bo Jackson cards are so popular, because they just are iconically cheesy or whatever you think they are, but like they have an iconic vibe to them.
Yeah. So there you go, Carrie. So there's enough to be a little dangerous.
That's good information. It's going to come in handy, I'm telling you.
Here's another art Umbreon. This is a V, not the VMAX, but this is a another one of those illustrator cards, and it's just awesome in hand. If you ever see a Pokemon card in hand like the VMAX ones, they're like textured. They're super cool too. Like there's like a pattern and stuff. So yeah,
love it.
But there you go, Carrie. There you go. So
that's great.
That's it, Carrie. That's pretty much it. I always like to end the podcast with goals. What is American Arbitrage Cards? What are your goals for this next coming up season?
Wow, that's interesting. I mean, all my goals are probably, I mean, they're like a lot of us YouTubers. It's like how many videos I want to produce, numbers I want to get as subs, which is probably not as interesting to people. But like, I'd like to do three. One major goal I have right now is to try to do 3 videos a week, which I love talking card stuff, and I hope I can continue to do it to 3 videos a week because I feel like I've got a lot to say. So that's a major thing, and then just hopefully grow, and then meet people and have interesting experiences. I don't really have any particular goals. I might need to, I want to work with companies within the space. I'd love to be a guy that could get like a box of baseball cards, for free or something. I know that sounds stupid, but to me that would be a major deal. Not even that I care about. Like, I can afford it, like for the most part, not the high end stuff, but like I just think that'd be cool. Like if I could do what I love and then do it where I can make a little money and have it paid for, that would be insane. Like that's just little stuff like that would be really cool. So I don't know if those are great goals, but those are mine.
I love it. I love it. Des Hardy dropping the $3 super sticker. Thank you so much for all the donations, Des. And we'll leave you with the Ric Flair, and we'll get out of here. Okay, yes. Gary?
Showtime! Woo! 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 Silent and profiling.
All right. I was going to show off my Ric Flair Funko Pop, but I forgot that's in my office. All right, Kerry, thank you so much for coming on. I do appreciate it. And guys, make sure you follow Kerry on all of his new social media card endeavors. The links are down in the description below. And that's it, Kerry. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. So like always, guys, my name is Ray. I need to make sure I point to the right direction. What is your name, Kerry?
Oh, I'm Kerry, American Arbitrage Cards. Please check out my channel and continue watching Ray, please, because it's good stuff.
Do please. And we'll catch you guys on the flip side. See y'all. God bless.